discus throw requires hard work, yet hard work alone is not enough. Success in the discus throw depends upon the clearest possible understanding of the event's principles. The athlete who understands the discus throw will improve steadily. The athlete who does not becomes increasingly worse as the season goes on. Hence the need for a clear understanding of and a systematic approach to the discus throw. The most important words used in describing the discus throw are twist, torque, and centrifugal force. Suppose we illustrate in this fashion. We can store power in a strip of metal in two ways. First, we can simply bend it. The power is released in a forward or linear direction. Second, we can twist the metal. In this way, we develop torque or twisting power. This twisting concept is the one that the discus thrower should try to fix in his mind. This, then, is our basic concept in throwing the discus. All points of technique stem from the effort to develop the greatest possible twisting force. In an athletic event, centrifugal force is developed by twisting the body from a position of non-alignment through alignment and past alignment. Again, non-alignment, alignment, past alignment. The discus is held by the last joints of the fingers. The fingers are slightly spread. The grip should be comfortable and without tension. With practice, the thrower will find the handhold that suits him best. Let us examine a fine discus thrower as he makes a standing throw. His basic effort is to wind up and unwind, or to twist and untwist. In the unwinding, an effort is made to develop the maximum torque or twisting effort. Now, let's examine the standing throw in more detail. The athlete has rotated to a wound-up position, a position similar to that of the twisted strip of metal. The feet are comfortably spaced about a yard apart. The body weight is supported over the right foot. The right leg is bent to permit greater power in the unwinding effort. As the thrower unwinds to deliver the discus, he is so committed to a twisting movement that he is compelled to make an additional turn as a follow-through. Our thrower now uses a full turn to make a fine effort of 175 feet. Again, this time in slow motion. As we begin to learn the discus throw, it is important to pause and consider exactly what it is we are trying to accomplish. Remember that the discus throw is a centrifugal force event. The main effort is to develop a twist or torque motion. Recall that in working from a stand, we tried to achieve a wound-up position from which an unwinding could be made with power. This we can call our key position. The purpose of the turn is simply to place the thrower in this key position with momentum. These, then, are the two important words, position and momentum. The test of a good turn becomes clear. Does the turn result in a good position? Is there momentum? Concerning position, is the body weight supported over the right foot? Is the right leg bent to make for a more powerful unwinding effort? As soon as the key position is attained, the thrower untwists with a full circular motion that compels an additional turn. Again, a comfortable position is taken with both feet at the rear of the circle. A preliminary swing establishes rhythm. At the height of this backswing, the legs begin their pivot. A wound-up position is reached. A powerful unwinding delivers the discus. The essential point bears repeating. The turn has been used simply to achieve position with momentum. Now let us concentrate on the footwork. The discus has been called a leg event. This is very true because the turn is made entirely with the legs. It is the correct use of the legs that produces a comfortable key position at the end of the turn. Also, the legs make the important contribution to the powerful unwinding action that delivers the discus. The pivot is begun on both feet. Even though part of the turn has already been made, note that the right foot is still in contact with the ground. The good discus thrower keeps both feet on the ground as long as comfort permits. Note also that the athlete maintains a relatively stable and comfortable position. This scene shows the most critical part of the entire turn. What happens at this point will largely determine success or failure. Even the ability to follow through is being decided at this point. It is now vital that the upper body completely relax and that all the remaining work of the turn be done by the legs. The right leg has pushed off the ground and the pivot is now entirely on the left leg. Two important points deserve our attention. The right leg is being bent and the right knee is being lifted. This action is necessary to permit a landing on a bent right leg. However, the lifting action of the right knee has a tendency to raise the entire body. To counteract this tendency, a special effort is made to sink over a bending left knee. The left leg is kept loose and passive. A good key position is achieved. The preparation for the excellent right leg position was the earlier bending and lifting of the right knee. Notice also the good position of the left leg. It is directly in line with the intended direction of discus flight. The average discus thrower has great trouble with left leg placement. He finds that the left leg is far to the left or over in the bucket. Direct efforts to work on left leg placement are always unsuccessful and upsetting. Oddly enough, the best way to coach left leg placement is to ignore it. If the thrower concentrates on landing on the right leg, and if he is truly trying for a centrifugal effort, the left foot placement will be automatically good. Left foot trouble is a symptom or tip-off that the athlete does not yet understand what he is trying to accomplish. A powerful twisting and lifting effort delivers the discus. Again, we see that the athlete is so committed to a twist that he continues to turn after the discus has been released. We have seen a fine discus thrower illustrate the basic points of technique. It is now important to look at the way a beginner should go about learning these points, to see the procedures and drills that the beginner should use to acquire sound discus form. The beginner should be allowed a brief period of orientation. This permits him to get a feel for the discus. During the first several practice sessions, very few points of form should be taught. As soon as the beginner feels comfortable with his discus, probably in a matter of a few days, he should receive coaching attention. Early coaching centers around the points of comfort over the right leg and a rhythmic twist into a wound-up position. The rotary nature of the event is constantly stressed. The athlete is asked to rotate his body to a wound-up position over the right foot. He should then unwind in a comfortable and relaxed way. A series of such windings and unwindings helps to establish a smooth rhythm. When he feels ready, he accelerates the last unwinding and the discus is released. As the beginner works, he should always keep clearly in mind that the discus is a rotary event and that his task is to develop centrifugal force. The reverse is an important and natural part of the throw and should be taught as soon as possible. The reverse consists of a switching of the feet as the discus is released. This permits a full follow-through and emphasizes the rotary nature of the event. The average beginner is bound to look awkward and stiff. Nevertheless, he should not be burdened with detailed instructions. Instead, he should be encouraged to work in a relaxed and unhurried way without worrying about distance or direction. Most errors in discus technique spring from a failure to grasp the real nature of the task. Here, for example, is a throw that is only partly centrifugal. Because most errors stem from the inability to understand the torque effort, early coaching must constantly emphasize the roundness of the drive. The beginner is usually very anxious to throw with a full turn, but a sound standing throw must come first. Premature efforts to learn the throw will be fruitless and discouraging. Thus, the beginner must be willing to devote his early sessions to the standing throw. Only when there is some mastery of the standing throw is he ready to work on the turn. Our approach to learning the turn is by way of several drills. The thrower's first task is to become comfortable with the preliminary swings. The same drill in slow motion. Placing both feet at the rear of the circle, he tries to rotate in a loose and relaxed fashion. To establish an easy rhythm, the key words are comfort and relaxation. Tension will interfere with an effective turn. The next step is to learn to pivot as far as possible with both feet remaining in contact with the ground. Through as much of the turn as possible, the right foot maintains contact. This increases both balance and power. Only the very finest discus throwers are able to maintain an easy right foot contact with the ground until the last comfortable moment. The beginner has a tendency to lift the right foot immediately. Hence, this type of drill is badly needed. A valuable drill to help the beginner learn balance at the end of the pivot on both feet is to have him prepare to receive a weight at this point. The need to support the weight will focus his attention on a position of comfort and balance. The next drill deals with the most critical part of the turn, that of landing in an effective driving position. Landing must be over the right foot. The upper body must be wound up. In carrying out this drill, the athlete should work smoothly and easily. There should be intense concentration on landing in a balanced position over the right foot. This drill is important enough to be demonstrated again and again. Further progress depends upon its mastery. After a fair degree of proficiency has been achieved, the thrower should be asked to add to the drill. As before, there will be a loose pivot followed by concentration on balance. Now, however, a reverse is added to the exercise. If he can carry out these drills, the athlete has acquired the basic points of sound discus technique. Here in slow motion, our candidate is making a full throw. The actual presence of the discus in his hand tends to bring about some anxiety for performance and tension. Tension is the enemy of good discus throwing. Hence, we always ask the discus thrower to work with a loose, relaxed rhythm. He should try to ignore the discus and think of the drills he's been practicing. An easy pivot on both feet, the right knee leads, a split second of balance, the reverse. As time goes on, more of each practice session will be spent in making full throws. Whenever possible, a skilled observer should be present. The coach will always have in sight the basic principle, to develop centrifugal force through a twisting movement. His corrections will stem from this goal. The athlete who is willing to work, to think, and to cooperate with his coach will progress in the discus throw. And he will find this interesting event a source of satisfaction and achievement.